The boss froze when he saw his late wife's ring in the nurse's hand. The rain hammered against the windows of Saint Raphael Hospital like desperate fists trying to get in. Michael Reynolds sat hunched over his desk on the 10th floor, the cold glow of his lamp casting shadows across patient files that blurred together after too many hours. His hands trembled as he signed off on the last chart. They always trembled when it rained like this. 25 years, and his body still remembered. He rubbed his eyes, feeling every one of his 55 years pressing down on him. The premature gray in his hair had come early, right after that night. The night that had carved a hole in his chest so deep he'd spent 2 decades trying to fill it with work, with achievements, with anything that might make him forget the sound of metal tearing and glass shattering and his own voice screaming names that no one answered. A soft knock pulled him back to the present. "Come in," he called, his voice rougher than he intended. The door opened, and Emily Carter stepped inside, the new night shift nurse. He'd approved her hiring 3 weeks ago, but had barely exchanged more than pleasantries with her. She was young, maybe 28, with this calm presence that seemed almost out of place in the chaos of a hospital. Her honey-colored eyes held something he couldn't quite name. Sadness, maybe, or the kind of quiet that comes from carrying secrets you don't even know you have. "Good evening, Dr. Reynolds. I have the test results you requested." She crossed the room, her footsteps barely audible on the tile floor. Michael looked up, ready to take the folder from her hand, and then he saw it. Time stopped. On her right hand, on her ring finger, gleamed a silver band with a small sapphire surrounded by tiny engraved stars. The design was unmistakable, unique. He'd spent 3 months' salary on it 30 years ago, back when he was just a resident with more love than money. He'd had it custom-made at a little jeweler's shop in Brooklyn that probably didn't even exist anymore. He'd slipped it onto Laura's finger under a sky full of promises, both of them too young and too hopeful to imagine that anything could ever go wrong. The file slipped from his fingers and hit the floor with a sound like a gunshot. "Dr. Reynolds." Emily's voice seemed to come from very far away. "Are you okay?" He couldn't breathe, couldn't think. His eyes were locked on that ring, on those tiny stars that he'd chosen because Laura used to say he hung the moon for her. And he'd told her that wasn't enough. He'd give her all the stars too. "That ring," the words scraped out of his throat. "Where did you get that ring?" Emily glanced down at her hand, confusion crossing her face. "This, I've always had it, for as long as I can remember. Actually, always." Michael stood up so fast his chair rolled backward and hit the wall. "What does that mean, always?" She took a step back, clearly unsettled by his reaction. They told me I was wearing it when they found me. I was 3 years old. There was an accident on some highway, and I was alone. They never figured out who I belonged to." The room tilted. Michael gripped the edge of his desk, his knuckles going white. "Found you? What highway? When?" "October 15th, 1997. Emily's voice had gone soft, almost apologetic, like she was sorry for existing. "A couple of farmers found me wandering on the side of Route 70, out in the middle of nowhere in Texas. I was in shock, couldn't tell them my name or anything about my family, just had this ring and a cloth doll. They took me to the hospital, and when nobody claimed me," she shrugged, a gesture that tried to be casual but fell short. "A family from a small town adopted me, gave me a new name, a new life. I don't remember anything from before that night." October 15th, 1997. 3 days after Michael's world had ended. 3 days after the semi-truck had jackknifed on that rain-slicked highway. After his car had rolled over and over. After he'd been thrown clear and woken up in a hospital bed with a doctor telling him that his wife Laura and his 3-year-old daughter Sophie had been swept away by the river. That their bodies had never been recovered. That the case was closed. He'd believed them. For 25 years, he'd believed them. Michael's vision blurred. The room spun. He must have swayed because suddenly Emily was at his side, her hand on his elbow, guiding him back to his chair. "Dr. Reynolds, please sit down. Should I call someone?" "No." The word came out harsh. He forced himself to breathe, to think past the roaring in his ears. "No, I'm fine." But he wasn't fine. He was staring at a ghost, at an impossible thing. Emily crouched beside his chair, her face creased with worry. "Can I get you some water?" You've gone completely pale." Up close, he could see her more clearly. The shape of her face, the way her hair fell, those eyes, honey-colored, flecked with gold near the pupils, just like Laura's, and the way she tilted her head when she was concerned, just like Sophie used to do when she'd ask him to check for monsters under her bed. "How old are you?" he asked. 28. "I'll be 29 in March." Sophie would have been 28. "Would be 29 in March. What's your birthday?" "March 12th, at least. That's what they put on my paperwork. They had to guess since I couldn't tell them." Emily was watching him now with something close to alarm. "Dr. Reynolds, you're scaring me a little. What's going on?" March 12th, Sophie's birthday, his little girl's birthday. Michael's hand shook as he reached out, stopping just short of touching the ring. May I see it? Closer?" Emily hesitated, then extended her hand. The ring caught the light, and Michael's heart cracked open all over again. There, on the inside of the band where no one else would ever see, were 2 tiny engraved letters. Emsal, Michael and Laura. He'd put them there as a surprise. Laura had cried when she discovered them. Happy tears that had turned into laughter when he'd kissed them away. "There's an inscription," Emily said quietly. "I never knew what it meant. Just 2 letters." Michael looked up at her, really looked at her, and saw his daughter's face staring back at him through 25 years of absence. The shape of her nose, the curve of her smile, even though she wasn't smiling now, the way she bit her lower lip when she was nervous. A habit Laura had too. "M and L," he whispered. "Michael and Laura, your mother and I." Emily went very still. "What?" "I had that ring made for my wife 30 years ago. I gave it to her when I proposed. She was wearing it the night we had a car accident, the night I was told she and my daughter died." His voice broke. "The night I lost everything." The silence that followed was so complete. Michael could hear his own heartbeat, could hear the rain still battering the windows, could hear Emily's sharp intake of breath. "That's not possible," she said, but her voice was shaking. "That ring is one of a kind. I designed it myself. There isn't another one like it in the world." Emily pulled her hand back, cradling it against her chest like the ring might burn her. Her eyes were wide, filling with tears. She was trying to blink away. "Are you saying that you think that I might be my daughter?" The words felt like a prayer and a curse all at once. "I think you might be my daughter, Sophie." Emily left his office 20 minutes later, her face pale and her steps unsteady. Michael had tried to explain, tried to make sense of something that defied all logic, but the words had come out jumbled and desperate. She'd promised to think about what he'd said, promised to come back, but he could see the doubt in her eyes, the fear that maybe he was just some grief-stricken man grasping at impossible coincidences. After she left, Michael sat alone in his office until dawn broke over the city, the rain finally tapering off into a gray morning mist. He didn't go home. Home was just an empty apartment filled with furniture he didn't care about and silence that pressed against his skull. Instead, he pulled out the bottom drawer of his desk, the one he rarely opened, and took out the shoebox he'd kept hidden there for years. Inside were photographs, the only ones he could bear to keep close. His hands trembled as he lifted the first one. Laura on their wedding day, radiant in a simple white dress, that ring catching the sunlight as she held his face and kissed him. She'd been 23, he'd been 25. They'd had nothing but student loans and dreams in each other, and it had felt like everything. The next photo showed Sophie at 2 years old, chocolate cake smeared across her face at her birthday party. Her eyes, honey-colored, just like her mother's, crinkled with laughter. Michael traced the outline of her face with his finger, trying to match it to Emily's features. Was the curve of the cheek the same? The shape of her smile? 25 years was a long time. Children changed, grew into strangers wearing familiar shadows. But that ring didn't lie. Michael set the photos aside and leaned back in his chair, closing his eyes. The memories came whether he wanted them or not, sharp and vivid as broken glass. October 12th, 1997, a Saturday night. They'd been driving back from Laura's parents' house upstate, Sophie asleep in her car seat in the back, her stuffed rabbit clutched in her tiny fists. Laura had been humming along to the radio, some old Beatles song she loved. Michael remembered reaching over to take her hand, remembered her squeezing back, the ring smooth and warm against his palm. Then the rain had started, not gradually. It had come down in sheets, turning the highway into a river. Michael had slowed down, gripping the wheel tighter, but Laura hadn't seemed worried. She'd trusted him, always had. "We're almost home," she'd said, turning to smile at him. "Maybe we can have some hot chocolate when we get there. Sophie will love that." Those were the last words she'd spoken to him. The semi-truck had come out of nowhere, jackknifing across both lanes. Michael had yanked the wheel hard to the right, but the roads were slick, and the car had hydroplaned. Everything after that came in fragments, spinning, the screech of metal. Sophie's scream cut short, Laura's hand torn from his. The feeling of flying through space before the impact knocked him unconscious. When he woke up 3 days later in the hospital, a doctor with tired eyes had delivered the news like a eulogy. His wife and daughter had been swept into the river when the car went over the embankment. Search and rescue had looked for 2 days but found nothing. The current was too strong, the water too deep and too dark. "We're very sorry, Mr. Reynolds," the doctor had said. "We did everything we could." Michael had signed the death certificates, had held a funeral with empty caskets, had listened to people tell him that time would heal, that he'd find peace, that Laura and Sophie were in a better place. None of it had helped. He'd thrown himself into his work because work didn't ask questions, or expect him to move on. Work didn't care that he woke up every night reaching for a wife who wasn't there, listening for a daughter who would never call for him again. And now, 25 years later, that daughter might be working down the hall. Michael opened his eyes and looked at his hands. They were shaking worse than usual. He'd developed the tremor in the months after the accident, some kind of post-traumatic response, the doctors said. It had faded over the years, but never completely disappeared. On rainy nights, it came back with a vengeance. His body remembering what his mind tried to forget. He pulled out his phone and stared at it for a long moment before making the call. "Whitaker Investigations. Thomas speaking. Mr. Whitaker, my name is Michael Reynolds. I need your help with something. Unusual." Thomas Whitaker had been recommended by a colleague years ago when the hospital needed to investigate a fraud case. He was good at finding things people didn't want found, at putting together puzzles that seemed impossible. "I'm listening," Thomas said, his voice gravelly but not unkind. Michael took a breath. "I need you to find everything you can about a woman named Emily Carter, 28 years old. She works as a nurse here at Saint Raphael. I need to know where she came from, how she ended up here, and most importantly, I need to know about an accident that happened in 1997 when she was found as a child." There was a pause. "This is personal. Very. Can I ask why?" Michael looked at the photographs spread across his desk, at Laura's smile and Sophie's chocolate-covered face. "Because I think she might be my daughter. The daughter I was told died 25 years ago." Another pause. Longer this time. "That's quite a claim. I know how it sounds, but there's evidence. A ring, a date, a location. I just need you to connect the dots so I know I'm not losing my mind." "All right. Dr. Reynolds, give me a week. I'll pay double if you can do it in 3 days. Consider it done." After he hung up, Michael sat in the growing daylight and tried to imagine what came next. If Emily really was Sophie, and God, his heart ached at the possibility. What then? How did you explain to someone that their entire life had been built on a lie? That the family she'd lost and never remembered was right here, had been looking for her in every face, every laugh, every random moment for 2.5 decades. And what about Laura? If Sophie had survived, was it possible? No, he couldn't let himself go there. Not yet. That hope was too big, too dangerous. It would crush him if he was wrong. But the ring, that damned ring. Michael picked up his phone again and pulled up the hospital directory. Found Emily's contact information. His finger hovered over the call button for a full minute before he set the phone down. He needed facts first. Evidence. Something concrete to stand on before he turned both their lives upside down. 3 days. Whitaker had said Michael could survive 3 days. He'd survived 25 years. What was 3 more days of not knowing whether his daughter was alive? Thomas Whitaker showed up 2 days later. Not 3. Michael was in a consultation with the cardiology team when his secretary buzzed through. "Dr. Reynolds, there's a Mr. Whitaker here to see you. He says it's urgent." Michael's heart jumped into his throat. Tell him I'll be right there. He wrapped up the meeting in record time, probably leaving his colleagues wondering what the hell had gotten into him. When he reached his office, Thomas was standing by the window, a worn leather messenger bag slung over his shoulder. He was 60 if he was a day, with silver hair cropped military short, and the kind of weathered face that said he'd seen more than most people could stomach. Mr. Whitaker. That was fast. Thomas turned, and the look in his eyes made Michael's stomach clench. Dr. Reynolds, you might want to sit down for this. Michael closed the door and moved to his desk, but he didn't sit. Couldn't. Just tell me. Thomas pulled a thick manila envelope from his bag and set it on the desk. What I found, it's extraordinary and disturbing. He opened the envelope and spread out documents, copies of police reports, hospital records, adoption papers, newspaper clippings yellowed with age. Michael's hands shook as he reached for them. Emily Carter was found on October 15, 1997, Thomas began, his voice taking on the neutral tone of someone delivering facts that weren't neutral at all. Route 70 in rural Texas, approximately 110 miles from the site of your accident. A couple named Jim and Martha Henderson were driving home from a church function when they saw her wandering on the shoulder of the highway. 3 years old, in shock, nonverbal. She was clutching a rag doll and wearing that ring you mentioned. Michael picked up the police report. The words blurred, but he forced himself to focus. 3 days after our accident. Exactly 3 days. Thomas pulled out another document. Now here's where it gets interesting. The local police ran a missing child search, but it was perfunctory at best. They checked regional reports from the previous week, found nothing matching her description, and closed the investigation within 48 hours. 48 hours. Michael looked up sharply. That's not protocol. Not for a found child. No, it's not. Standard procedure would have been at least 2 weeks of active searching. National database checks, media alerts. None of that happened. Thomas tapped another paper. The adoption was processed through the county court in record time. 6 weeks from found to legally adopted. The case was handled by Judge Richard Collins. The name meant nothing to Michael. Should I know him? Maybe not directly, but you know his cousin. Thomas's expression darkened. Evelyn Parker. The room temperature seemed to drop 10 degrees. Evelyn, his partner at the hospital for the last 15 years. The woman who'd been there through his darkest days after the accident, who'd offered comfort he'd been too numb to accept. The woman whose marriage proposal he'd gently refused 8 years ago, choosing instead to bury himself in work rather than try to rebuild something he didn't think he deserved. She'd been furious. Not overtly. Evelyn was too controlled for outbursts. But he'd seen it in the way she'd looked at him for months afterward, like he'd stolen something from her. You think Evelyn had something to do with this? The words felt absurd even as he said them. With my daughter being found 100 miles away and adopted by strangers. I'm saying the connections are there. Thomas pulled out more papers. Judge Collins has a history of fast-tracking adoptions. There've been whispers about him for years. Nothing that ever stuck, but whispers nonetheless. And your accident investigation was also closed faster than it should have been. The officer in charge, Detective Frank Morrison, retired 6 months later and moved to Florida. Bought a house on the water. Cash. Michael felt sick. You're telling me someone paid to make sure my family stayed missing. I'm telling you that there are irregularities in every step of this process. The accident investigation, the lack of follow-up on Emily's discovery, the rushed adoption, the judge's connection to your business partner. Thomas met his eyes. I've been doing this work for 30 years, Dr. Reynolds. I don't believe in coincidences this big. Michael sank into his chair, his mind racing. Evelyn had been in love with him. He'd known that even before she'd proposed. She'd made it clear in 100 small ways over the years. But to orchestrate something like this, to deliberately keep him from finding his daughter, why? The word came out broken. Even if she wanted me for herself, why do this? Why not just let Sophie die in that river? Because dead is final, Thomas said quietly. But missing leaves questions. Missing leaves you searching. Maybe she thought if your daughter was out there somewhere, alive but unreachable, it would keep you focused forward instead of backward, keep you from moving on completely while also ensuring you'd never find what you were looking for. It was sick, twisted, and exactly the kind of long-game manipulation that someone brilliant and patient might play. "What about my wife?" Michael's voice cracked. "Laura, if Sophie survived, is it possible?" Thomas's expression softened. "I looked. Believe me, I looked. But there's nothing. No Jane Does matching her description from that time period. No unidentified patients. No mysterious adoptions or disappearances. If she survived, she covered her tracks better than a 3-year-old could. Or someone covered them for her," Michael thought but didn't say. He picked up Emily's adoption papers, reading through them with new eyes. Martha and Jim Henderson, humble farmers from a town of 800 people. They'd given Emily a good life by all accounts, raised her with love, put her through community college, supported her decision to become a nurse. They'd died in a house fire 4 years ago, which was why Emily had moved to the city, looking for a fresh start, looking, maybe, for something she didn't even know she'd lost. "What do I do with this?" Michael asked, gesturing at the spread of documents. "How do I prove any of it?" "You start with the DNA test. Confirm what you already suspect. Then you decide how deep you want to dig." Thomas leaned against the desk. "But I'll tell you right now, if Evelyn Parker really did orchestrate this, she's not going to confess just because you ask nicely. You'll need leverage, evidence, and you'll need to be prepared for what happens when you start pulling on this thread." Michael thought about Evelyn's office 3 floors down, thought about how many times they'd shared coffee in the break room, discussed cases, laughed at inside jokes, how she'd held his hand at Laura's funeral while he stared at empty caskets and wished he'd died in that river too. She'd been there for all of it, watching, waiting, making sure he never found his way back to the truth. "Set up a meeting with Emily," Michael said, his voice steady despite the rage building in his chest. "I need to ask her to take a DNA test, and then," he looked at Thomas, "then I need you to find me everything you can on Evelyn Parker. Bank records, phone logs, travel history from 1997. Everything." Thomas nodded. "Consider it done." After he left, Michael sat alone with the documents spread before him like accusatory evidence at a trial. 25 years, a quarter of a century spent grieving for a child who'd been alive all along. Growing up with strangers while her real father worked himself into an early grave just miles away, he picked up his phone and pulled up Evelyn's number. His finger hovered over the call button. Not yet. Not until he had proof she couldn't deny. But soon. Very soon, Michael found Emily in the staff lounge 3 days later, during the quiet lull between afternoon rounds and dinner service. She was sitting alone by the window, a half-eaten sandwich on the table in front of her, staring out at nothing in particular. When she saw him in the doorway, something flickered across her face. Recognition, maybe, or dread. "Dr. Reynolds." She started to stand, but he waved her back down. "Please, and it's Michael, can we talk?" She nodded slowly, her fingers moving unconsciously to twist the ring on her hand. He'd noticed she did that when she was nervous, a habit that made his chest ache, because Sophie used to do the same thing with her shoelaces. He sat across from her, suddenly unsure how to begin. How did you ask someone to upend their entire understanding of who they were? "I know this is going to sound crazy," he started, "and I know you probably think I've lost my mind after what I said the other night, but I need you to hear me out." Emily's honey-colored eyes searched his face. "I've been thinking about what you said, about the ring. I even went through my old things, the box of stuff from when the Hendersons found me. There isn't much, just the doll and some photos they took of me those first few years." She paused. "I wanted to tell you that you're wrong, that it's just a coincidence. But that ring is one of a kind," Michael finished. "I had it made at a small jewelry shop in Brooklyn 30 years ago. The jeweler was an old Russian man named Victor who did custom work. I drew the design myself, the sapphire surrounded by stars. My wife used to say I hung the moon for her, so I told her that wasn't enough. I'd give her all the stars too." Emily's eyes glistened. "That's beautiful. There's an inscription inside, M+L, Michael and Laura. I had Victor added as a surprise." He took a breath. "My wife's name was Laura. My daughter's name was Sophie. She was 3 years old when we had a car accident on October 12, 1997. I was thrown from the vehicle and survived. They told me my wife and daughter died, that their bodies were swept away by the river and never recovered. October 12th, Emily whispered. I was found on October 15th, 110 miles from where our car went into that river. 3 days later, a 3-year-old girl with no memory, no identification, just a rag doll and a silver ring with stars. Emily's hand went to her mouth. Oh my God. I know this is a lot. I know you have a life, an identity, people who loved and raised you. I'm not trying to take that away. But Emily, his voice broke. I think you might be my daughter. I think you might be Sophie. The silence stretched between them, heavy with possibility and fear. Outside the window, the city moved on, oblivious to the moment that was reshaping 2 lives. I've always felt like something was missing, Emily said finally, her voice small, like there was this hole in my heart that nothing could fill. The Hendersons were good people. They loved me, gave me everything they could, but I'd have these dreams sometimes. A man's voice singing, strong arms lifting me up into the air while I laughed, a woman with kind eyes brushing my hair. She looked at him. I thought they were just dreams, things my mind made up because I wanted to remember so badly. Michael felt tears burning behind his eyes. I used to sing to you every night before bed. Your favorite song was, "You Are My Sunshine," and I'd toss you up in the air while you giggled and begged me to do it again. You'd laugh so hard you'd get the hiccups. Emily's face crumpled. A sob broke from her throat, and she pressed her hands over her mouth, trying to hold it back. Michael moved around the table and knelt beside her chair. And your mother? He continued softly. Laura had the most beautiful honey-colored eyes, just like yours. She'd sit you in her lap and brush your hair every morning, singing songs and making up stories about princesses who saved themselves. I remember, Emily gasped through her tears. I mean, I don't remember, but I feel it. Does that make sense? It's like my body remembers even though my mind doesn't. That makes perfect sense. Michael wanted to pull her into his arms, to hold his daughter for the first time in 25 years, but he held back. They weren't there yet. Maybe they'd never be there. Emily, I need to ask you something, and you can say no. I'll understand if you do. She wiped her eyes, looking at him with a mixture of hope and terror. What? Would you be willing to take a DNA test? I know a lab that can run it quickly, discreetly, if I'm wrong. If this is all just an impossible coincidence, then we'll know. And if I'm right, he swallowed hard. If I'm right, then maybe we can figure out what happens next. Together. Emily stared at him for a long moment. Then, slowly, she nodded. Yes, I need to know. I've spent my whole life wondering who I was, where I came from, if there's even a chance that you're telling the truth. She reached out and took his hand. Then yes, let's do the test. The relief that flooded through Michael was so intense it nearly knocked him over. Thank you. When? Now, if you're willing, I can have someone from the lab come up. It's just a cheek swab. Results will take about 5 days. 5 days, Emily laughed, but it sounded more like a sob. 5 days to find out if my entire life has been a lie. Not a lie, Michael said gently. Just incomplete. They did the test right there in the lounge. Michael had called ahead, and a lab technician appeared within 20 minutes with a kit. The actual process took less than 5 minutes. A quick swab of both their inner cheeks, samples sealed and labeled, paperwork signed, and then it was done. Nothing left but to wait. The technician left, and Michael and Emily sat in the lounge as the afternoon light faded into evening. They talked, carefully at first, then with growing ease. He told her about Laura, about their tiny apartment in Brooklyn when they were first married, about how Sophie had been obsessed with dinosaurs and had insisted on wearing her purple rain boots everywhere, even to bed. Emily told him about the Hendersons, about growing up on their farm with fields of sunflowers stretching to the horizon, about how she'd always loved taking care of people, even as a little girl, nursing injured birds back to health, bandaging her dolls, playing doctor with the farm cats. You get that from your mother, Michael said. Laura was studying to be a nurse when we met. She was the most caring person I've ever known. Was, Emily asked softly. The question hung in the air. Michael had been avoiding it, but there was no way around it now. I don't know, he admitted. The police said she died, that both of you died, but if you survived, he couldn't finish the sentence. The hope was too enormous, too dangerous. Then maybe she did too. Emily finished for him. Maybe. The word felt like a prayer. But one thing at a time first. We confirm that you're Sophie. Then we figure out the rest. Emily nodded, twisting the ring again. 5 days. 5 days. She stood. And this time Michael stood with her. For a moment, they just looked at each other. Two people whose lives had been shattered and might, impossibly, be about to be made whole again. Dr. Reynolds, Michael, thank you for not giving up, for seeing that ring and believing something impossible. Thank you for being brave enough to find out the truth. Emily hesitated, then stepped forward and hugged him. It was brief, awkward, but Michael felt it all the way to his bones. The weight of her, the warmth, real and alive. And here, when she pulled back, they were both crying. I'll call you the moment I get the results, Michael said. I'll be waiting. She left. And Michael stood alone in the empty lounge as night settled over the city. 5 days. He could survive 5 days. He'd already survived 25 years. What was 5 more days of not knowing whether his daughter had finally come home? The 5 days crawled by like years. Michael threw himself into work, trying to keep his mind occupied. But every time his phone buzzed, he jumped, heart racing, only to find routine emails or mundane messages. Emily texted him once on day 3. Just a simple, still waiting, still hoping. And he'd stared at those words for 20 minutes before responding with, me too. On the morning of day 6, his phone rang at 6:47 a.m. The lab. Dr. Reynolds, this is Claire from GeneTech Labs. Your results are ready. His hand shook so badly he almost dropped the phone. And 99.9% probability of paternity, Dr. Reynolds. She's your daughter. The world stopped spinning, then started again. Faster. Brighter. Impossibly real. You're certain. As certain as science can be. I'm emailing the full report now. But yes, congratulations. Michael ended the call and sat on the edge of his bed, his whole body trembling. 25 years. 25 years of grief and guilt and a hole in his chest that nothing could fill. And now, in a single moment, everything had changed. Sophie was alive. His daughter was alive. He called Emily, not caring that it wasn't even 7 in the morning. She answered on the first ring, her voice breathless. Did they call you? Yes. He couldn't stop the sob that broke from his throat. It's you. You're Sophie. You're my daughter. The sound she made was somewhere between a laugh and a cry. Oh my God. Oh my God. I didn't let myself believe it. I was so afraid. I know. Me too. Can I come over? I need to see you. Her voice cracked. I need to see my father. Michael gave her his address without hesitation. She arrived 40 minutes later, and the moment he opened the door, she threw herself into his arms. They stood in the doorway crying, holding each other, 25 years of absence collapsing into a single moment of reunion. Daddy, she whispered against his shoulder, trying out the word for the first time with full knowledge of what it meant. My daddy, my Sophie, my little girl. He held her tighter, afraid that if he let go, she might disappear again. I never stopped looking for you. Not really. Every child's laugh, every little girl's face. I saw you everywhere. They moved inside, neither willing to let go completely. Michael made coffee with shaking hands, while Emily sat at his kitchen table, looking around at his sparse, orderly life with curious eyes. I imagined you differently, she admitted. I thought, if I had a father out there somewhere, he'd have moved on, remarried, had other children. I couldn't, Michael set a mug in front of her. How could I move on from losing everything? They talked for hours, filling in gaps, sharing memories. His real, hers like shadows she'd been chasing her whole life. He showed her photos, and she traced the face of the little girl she'd been with wondering fingers. I look so happy, she said softly, looking at a picture of Sophie on her 3rd birthday. Chocolate cake on her face, her smile enormous. You were the happiest kid I'd ever seen. Always laughing, always curious about everything. Emily looked up at him, and in her eyes he saw both the woman she'd become and the child she'd been. There's something I need to tell you. Something strange that's been happening for years, and I never understood why. What is it? On Sundays, when I have the day off, I take the train to Union Square. There's a green market there. Farmers, florists, craftspeople, and there's this one woman who sells white roses. She's older, maybe early 50s, thin with gray hair and a braid. She has the saddest eyes I've ever seen. Emily twisted the ring on her finger. I don't know why, but I always stop at her stand, always buy roses from her. Sometimes I stand there for 10 minutes just talking to her about nothing. The weather, the flowers, whatever. And every time I leave, I feel this ache in my chest like I'm leaving someone important behind. Michael's coffee mug froze halfway to his lips. White roses, always white ones. She says they're her specialty. His heart was pounding so hard it hurt. Laura loved white roses. We had them at our wedding. She planted them in our little yard, said they reminded her of fresh starts and happy endings. Emily's eyes went wide. You don't think... What does she call herself? This flower seller? Rose? She told me her name is Rose. The mug slipped from Michael's hand, coffee splashing across the table. He didn't notice. When do you usually see her? Sundays. Almost every Sunday. She's always there. Same spot near the north entrance. Michael grabbed his phone. Checking the date, Saturday. Tomorrow. We go tomorrow. Michael, it's probably just a coincidence. A woman who happens to sell roses. You were a coincidence. That ring was a coincidence. At what point do we stop calling them coincidences and start calling them miracles? He was on his feet now, his pacing, his mind racing. If you survived that crash, if you were wandering for 3 days before someone found you, why couldn't she have survived too? Why couldn't Laura be out there somewhere? Because someone would have found her. Someone would have reported it. Unless she had amnesia. Unless she couldn't remember who she was. He turned to Emily. You couldn't remember anything. What if she couldn't either? Emily stood, moving to his side. Okay. We'll go tomorrow. We'll find this woman and then what? We just walk up and ask if she's my dead mother. We show her photos. We see if anything registers. Michael pulled Emily into another hug, this one fierce with desperate hope. We've already found you. Maybe we can find her too. The next morning, they took the train to Manhattan. Michael's hands wouldn't stop shaking. Emily kept checking her phone, as if the time might suddenly skip forward and spare them the agony of waiting. Union Square was crowded with Sunday shoppers browsing stalls of fresh produce, artisan bread, handmade jewelry. They moved through the crowd toward the north entrance, Michael's heart hammering with every step. And then they saw her, a woman in her early 50s, thin, with silver gray hair pulled back in a simple braid. She stood behind a display of white roses, dozens of them, perfect and pristine. Her hands moved with practiced grace as she wrapped a bouquet for a customer. And when she smiled, it didn't quite reach her eyes. Michael stopped so suddenly that Emily bumped into him. That's her, Emily whispered. That's Rose. Michael couldn't breathe, even from 20 feet away, even with 25 years between them. Even with her hair gone gray and her face marked by time and hardship, he knew. Those eyes. He would know those eyes anywhere, in any lifetime, in any version of reality. Laura, his wife, was alive. He must have made some sound because Emily grabbed his arm. Michael, what is it? It's her. His voice came out broken. That's Laura. That's your mother. They moved forward together, threading through the crowd until they stood in front of the flower stand. The woman, Rose, Laura, looked up with a polite smile that was all professional warmth and no recognition. Good morning. Can I interest you in some roses fresh cut this morning? Michael tried to speak but couldn't. Emily squeezed his hand, stepping forward. We'd like a dozen white roses, please. Of course. Rose began selecting stems, her movements efficient and practiced. Special occasion. A reunion, Emily said softly. Of sorts. Rose glanced up, and for just a moment her eyes lingered on Emily's face. A flicker of something. Confusion, maybe, or a feeling she couldn't name, crossed her features. Then it was gone. That's lovely. Reunions are precious things. Michael found his voice. What's your name? The woman looked at him, and he watched her really see him for the first time. Whatever she saw made her pause, the roses forgotten in her hands. Rose, she said slowly. At least that's what I've been calling myself. I don't actually know what my real name is. Why not? Emily asked. Rose's expression turned sad. I woke up in a hospital 25 years ago with no memory, no I'd, no family, nothing. They said I'd been pulled from a river, hypothermic and half drowned. When nobody claimed me after 6 months, a family of florists took me in, taught me the trade. She looked down at the roses. I chose Rose as a name because it felt right somehow. Safe. Michael's vision blurred with tears. Laura? Rose looked up sharply. What? Your name is Laura. Laura Reynolds. He pulled out his phone with trembling hands, showing her an old photo. Laura and Michael on their wedding day, young and radiant and whole. This is you. This is us. Rose stared at the photo, her face going pale. The roses fell from her hands. Rose stared at the photo for what felt like an eternity. Her hands trembled as she reached for Michael's phone, then stopped, as if afraid to touch something that might shatter the careful reality she'd built for herself. I don't understand, she whispered. Your name is Laura Reynolds, Michael said again, his voice thick with emotion. You're my wife. You were in a car accident on October 12th, 1997. They told me you died, but you didn't. You survived. Rose, Laura, shook her head slowly, backing away from the flower stand. No. I would remember. I would know if I had a husband, if I had a life before. This is your daughter. Michael gently pushed Emily forward. Sophie. She was 3 years old when we crashed. She survived too. We both thought you were dead, but you're here. You're both here. Laura's eyes locked onto Emily, and something shifted in her expression, a crack in the wall. I've seen you before. You come here. You always buy white roses. I do, Emily said softly. I never knew why. I just felt drawn to you. I felt it too. Laura pressed a hand to her chest. Every time you left, I felt like I was losing something precious. I thought I was losing my mind. Michael pulled up more photos. Sophie as a baby. Laura, pregnant and glowing, the three of them on Sophie's second birthday. With each image, Laura's breathing grew more ragged, tears streaming down her face. Stop, she finally gasped. Please, just stop. This is too much. Michael lowered the phone. I'm sorry. I know this is overwhelming. Overwhelming, Laura laughed, but it came out broken. You're telling me I have an entire life I can't remember. A husband, a daughter. How is that even possible? Amnesia from the trauma, Michael said. When you were pulled from the river, your brain protected itself by wiping everything clean. It happens. Laura sank onto the stool behind her stand, her face in her hands. The Sunday crowd continued around them, oblivious to the world that was reforming in this small space between the flower stands and the fruit vendors. Emily knelt beside her. I know what you're feeling. 2 weeks ago, I found out my entire life was built on a blank space where my real family should have been. It's terrifying, but it's also a gift. She held up her hand, showing the ring. This ring led me back to my father. Maybe it can lead you back too. Laura looked at the ring, and her breath caught. Slowly, she reached out and touched it, tracing the tiny stars with her fingertip. I know this ring. Michael's heart leaped. You remember it? I don't know. Maybe. It's like seeing something in a dream. Familiar but not quite real. She looked up at him with those honey-colored eyes he'd fallen in love with 30 years ago. I dream sometimes. About a man singing in the dark. About a little girl's laughter. About white roses in a garden. Her voice dropped to a whisper. Are those dreams memories? Yes, Michael said simply. They're our life. The one we had before everything fell apart. Laura stood abruptly. I need to close up the stand. I can't do this here. With all these people. Come with us, Emily said. We'll go somewhere quiet. We can talk. No pressure. No expectations. Just talk. Laura hesitated, looking between them. This man claiming to be her husband, and this young woman claiming to be her daughter. Michael could see the war happening behind her eyes. The terror of the unknown versus the pull of something that felt achingly familiar. Okay, she said finally. But just for an hour. I'm not promising anything beyond that. They went to a small cafe 3 blocks away. Tucked into a corner booth where the Sunday brunch crowd couldn't overwhelm them, Michael ordered coffee for everyone, his hands still shaking. Laura sat across from him, and the déjà vu was so strong it physically hurt. How many times had they sat across from each other in coffee shops and diners, planning their future, or just enjoying the silence of being together? "Tell me about the accident," Laura said. "Everything you remember?" Michael did. He walked her through that night. The drive from her parents' house, the rain, Sophie sleeping in the back seat, the semi-truck that jackknifed, Laura's hand reaching for his, the feeling of the car rolling, the water rushing in, the darkness. When I woke up in the hospital 3 days later, they told me you and Sophie had been swept away. They searched for 2 days but never found you. I signed death certificates, had a funeral with empty caskets. His voice cracked. I've spent 25 years thinking I failed you both. Laura's hands were wrapped around her coffee mug so tightly her knuckles had gone white. And you really think I'm her? This Laura. I know you are. The same way I knew Sophie was my daughter the moment I saw that ring. He reached across the table, stopping just short of touching her hand. Tell me about your dreams, the ones about the man singing. Laura closed her eyes. He sings, "You are my sunshine." It's always that song. And I can never see his face, but I feel safe, like nothing in the world could hurt me as long as he's there. Michael's voice came out barely above a whisper. I sang that to you on our wedding night. Told you that you were my sunshine, the thing that made everything worth it. A tear rolled down Laura's cheek. The little girl in my dreams. She has a purple rabbit. Is that real too? Emily gasped. I had a purple rabbit. It was my favorite thing in the world. I still have it. It's in a box at my apartment. My God. Laura opened her eyes, and they were drowning in tears. This is real. This is all real. It is, Michael said. And I know you can't remember it all yet. Maybe you never will. But we have time now. We can rebuild this together, piece by piece. Over the next hour, they talked. Michael and Emily shared stories, showed more photos, described the life that Laura couldn't remember. And slowly, piece by piece, things started to surface for her. Small things at first. A favorite song that made her cry without knowing why. A recipe for chicken soup that she'd been making for years without knowing where she'd learned it. The way she always planted roses in groups of 3. That's how we arranged our family photos, Michael explained, pulling up an image. The 3 of us, always together. You said 3 was a magic number. I still think that, Laura whispered. I have 3 sets of wind chimes at my apartment. 3 teapots. 3 of everything. I thought it was just a quirk. Thomas Whitaker had agreed to investigate Laura's past, and he called Michael that evening with details. Laura had been pulled from the river 30 miles downstream by fishermen who'd been checking their lines. She'd been hypothermic, barely conscious, with no identification. The hospital in Pennsylvania had kept her for weeks, hoping someone would claim her, but no one ever did. The case was never cross-referenced with your accident, Thomas explained. She was listed as Jane Doe number 847, when no family came forward after 6 months. A charitable organization that worked with the hospital offered to take her in. The Delgado family. They owned a flower shop. They gave her a job, a room, a new name. Evelyn, Michael said quietly. This has her fingerprints all over it. I'm still gathering evidence, but yes, I think she made sure Laura's case stayed buried just like Sophie's. After the call, Michael sat with Emily and Laura in his apartment, the 3 of them together for the first time in a quarter century. Laura had agreed to stay for dinner, though she still seemed skittish, like she might bolt at any moment. Emily cooked, Laura's favorite chicken dish, though Laura didn't remember it was her favorite. But when she tasted it, she stopped, her fork suspended in midair. My mother made this, she said suddenly. I can't see her face, but I remember her hands, moving around the kitchen, humming while she cooked. Your mother's name was Eleanor, Michael said gently. She passed away 10 years ago. She never stopped hoping you'd come home. Laura set down her fork, tears flowing freely now. I've lost so much time. Emily took her hand. But we have time now. That's what matters. Laura looked at her, really looked at her, and something softened in her expression. You have my eyes, and your smile, Michael added, and your stubborn streak, according to your mother. For the first time since they'd met at the flower stand, Laura laughed. It was small and fragile, but it was real. Tell me more, she said. Tell me everything. I want to remember. So they did. Late into the night, they sat together, building a bridge across 25 years of darkness. And when Laura finally left around midnight, promising to come back the next day, she hugged Emily first. Then Michael. I don't remember you yet, she whispered against his chest. But I want to. I want to remember us. We'll get there, Michael promised. One day at a time. After she left, Emily stayed, and they sat together in comfortable silence. We found her, Emily said eventually. We actually found her. We found each other, Michael corrected. All three of us. And for the first time in 25 years, he felt something he'd thought was lost forever. Hope. Thomas Whitaker called 3 days later with the kind of news that changed everything. Dr. Reynolds, we need to meet. Not at the hospital. Somewhere private. They met at a diner 40 minutes outside the city. The kind of place where nobody asked questions, and the coffee was terrible but hot. Thomas slid into the booth across from Michael with a folder thick enough to be a novel. I found it, he said without preamble. All of it. And it's worse than we thought. Michael's stomach clenched. Show me. Thomas opened the folder, spreading documents across the scarred Formica table. Bank statements, phone records, emails, witness statements. A paper trail of corruption stretching back 25 years. Detective Frank Morrison, the officer who investigated your accident, Thomas began, pointing to a bank statement. October 20th, 1997, 8 days after your crash, he deposited $15,000 cash into his checking account. 3 weeks later, another $10,000. He closed the investigation on your family after just 48 hours and retired 6 months later. Bought a beach house in Florida. Cash. Michael's hands curled into fists. Evelyn paid him off. Gets better. Thomas pulled out phone records. These are Evelyn Parker's cell phone logs from October 1997. She made 17 calls to Judge Richard Collins in the 2 weeks following your accident. Collins, as you know, is her cousin. He's also the judge who fast-tracked Sophie's adoption. She orchestrated everything, down to the smallest detail. Thomas laid out more papers. Hospital records, police reports, legal documents. Laura's admission to the Pennsylvania hospital was flagged in the system as a potential match to your accident investigation, standard protocol. But someone deleted that flag before it could be cross-referenced. I traced the deletion to a clerk named Patricia Hennessy, who, surprise, received a cash payment from an LLC owned by Evelyn Parker just 2 weeks later. Michael felt sick. She made sure Laura stayed lost. She made sure you stayed broken. Thomas's voice was grim. As long as your family was missing but not confirmed dead, you'd keep searching, keep hoping, keep too distracted and grief-stricken to move on. But if they were confirmed dead, you might eventually heal, might eventually open yourself up to someone new. So she kept them alive, but unreachable. Michael's voice shook with rage. She let me suffer for 25 years because she wanted me for herself. That's exactly what she did. Thomas pulled out one final document. A handwritten letter, the ink faded but still legible. This was in a safety deposit box she rented under a false name. I had to call in some favors to access it, so this conversation never happened. Understood? Michael took the letter, his hands trembling. October 18th, 1997. Richard, everything is in place. Morrison closed the case. The child's adoption will be finalized through your court within 6 weeks. And the Jane Doe in Pennsylvania will never be connected to the accident. Michael will grieve, but he won't heal. Not completely. He'll spend years searching for closure. He'll never find. And when he finally turns to someone for comfort, I'll be there. I've always been there. He just needs time to see that Laura was never right for him, that I'm the one who truly understands him. This isn't cruelty. It's love. Sometimes love requires difficult choices. Michael will thank me eventually, when he realizes I saved him from a mediocre life with a mediocre woman. Destroy this letter after you read it. Eh? Michael read it twice, then a third time, his rage building with each word. The casual cruelty, the cold calculation. The absolute certainty that she was justified in destroying 3 lives because she'd decided she deserved him. "I'm going to kill her," he said quietly. "No, you're not." Thomas took the letter back. "You're going to do something much worse. You're going to destroy her the way she tried to destroy you, legally, publicly, and permanently." "How?" Thomas smiled. "And it wasn't pleasant. We have everything we need for criminal charges: bribery, obstruction of justice, conspiracy, falsification of official documents. She'll go to prison. But more than that, we're going to make sure everyone knows what she did. The hospital board, the medical community, the press. By the time we're done, Evelyn Parker will be a cautionary tale about obsession and corruption." Michael looked at the letter again. 25 years. She'd stolen 25 years from him. From Laura. From Sophie. Years they could never get back. Birthdays and holidays and ordinary moments that were gone forever. "When do we move?" "The hospital board meets next week for their quarterly review. I suggest you present this evidence then. Maximum impact, maximum witnesses, and it gives her no time to cover her tracks or spin the narrative." Thomas gathered the documents. "I'll have copies made of everything and notarized. You'll have an airtight case." That evening, Michael told Laura and Emily everything. They were at his apartment. It had become their routine over the past week. These dinners where they slowly rebuilt the family they'd lost. Laura was still cautious, still struggled with memories that came in fragments and dreams. But she kept showing up, kept trying. When he finished explaining Evelyn's conspiracy, Laura was pale and shaking. "She did this on purpose." Her voice was barely a whisper. "She knew I was alive and kept us apart." "Yes." Michael wanted to reach for her hand but wasn't sure he had the right. They were still strangers in so many ways. Despite the DNA and the photos and the shared past, she couldn't remember. Emily was less restrained. "That psychotic bitch," she snarled. 25 years. She stole 25 years from us." "She'll pay for it," Michael said. "I promise you, she'll pay for every single day." Laura stood abruptly, moving to the window. Her hands were pressed flat against the glass, her shoulders rigid. "I keep trying to remember her. This woman who destroyed our lives, but I can't. I don't remember her face or her voice or anything about her." "That's probably a blessing," Emily muttered. "No." Laura turned, and there was steel in her voice that Michael recognized from before. The Laura who'd faced down hospital administrators and insurance companies without flinching. "No, I want to remember. I want to look her in the eye and know exactly what she took from me." "You'll get your chance," Michael said. "At the board meeting, you should both be there. You deserve to see this through." The week crawled by. Michael prepared his presentation, rehearsing the evidence until he could recite it in his sleep. Emily took time off work, too angry and unsettled to focus on patient care. Laura spent hours with old photo albums, trying to force her broken memories to knit back together. On Wednesday, she called Michael in tears. "I remembered something. Something big." "What?" "Your proposal. You took me to the Brooklyn Bridge at sunset. You were so nervous you dropped the ring twice before you finally got it on my finger." Her voice broke. "You told me I was your North Star, that as long as I was in your life, you'd never be lost." Michael's eyes burned with tears. "You said yes before I even finished asking." "I know. I remember." She laughed through her tears. "It's not much, but it's something. It's real. It's everything," Michael told her. "And there will be more, I promise." The night before the board meeting, the 3 of them sat together in Michael's living room. Emily was nervous, bouncing her knee and twisting her ring. Laura was quiet, her eyes distant. Michael felt strangely calm, the eye of the hurricane. "Are we ready for this?" Emily asked. "Yes," Michael said. "Tomorrow, we take back what she stole from us. Tomorrow, we make sure she can never hurt anyone else the way she hurt us." Laura reached over and took his hand. The first time she'd initiated contact since learning who he was. Her touch was tentative but real. "Tomorrow," she agreed, "we end this." And Michael, holding his wife's hand for the first time in 25 years, believed they would. The boardroom on the 15th floor of Saint Raphael Hospital had floor-to-ceiling windows that overlooked the city. On any other day, Michael might have appreciated the view. Today, He saw nothing but the 8 faces sitting around the mahogany table and the one empty chair where Evelyn should have been sitting. She arrived 5 minutes late. As always, her power move, making everyone wait. She swept into the room in a charcoal suit, her silver hair pulled back in her signature chignon, radiating the confidence of someone who'd never been challenged and never expected to be. Her eyes passed over Michael without concern, then landed on Laura and Emily sitting in the visitor chairs along the wall. A flicker of confusion crossed her face, quickly smoothed away. "Michael, I wasn't aware we were having guests at the quarterly review," she said coolly. "They're not guests." Michael stood, triggering the projector. "They're evidence." The first image appeared on the screen, a wedding photo, young Michael and Laura radiating joy. Evelyn's expression froze. 25 years ago, Michael began, his voice steady despite the rage simmering beneath. "I lost my wife and daughter in a car accident, or so I was told for 2.5 decades. I believed they were dead. I grieved them. I built my entire life around the hole they left behind." The next slide, Sophie at 3 years old, chocolate on her face, laughing. "3 weeks ago, a new nurse started working night shifts, Emily Carter." He gestured toward Emily. "She was wearing a ring I'd had custom made 30 years ago for my wife, a ring that should have been at the bottom of a river with Laura's body." Evelyn's face had gone pale, but she recovered quickly. "Michael, grief can make us see things that aren't there. DNA evidence confirms that Emily Carter is Sophie Reynolds." "My daughter," Michael's voice cut through her objection like a blade. "The daughter who was supposedly killed in that accident, the daughter who was actually found 3 days later, 100 miles away, and adopted through an expedited process handled by Judge Richard Collins." He clicked to the next slide. Bank records, highlighted transactions, phone logs. Detective Frank Morrison closed the investigation into my family's deaths after just 48 hours. 8 days later, he deposited $15,000 in cash into his checking account. Click. 3 weeks after that, another $10,000. Click. The source of those funds, an LC owned by you, Evelyn. The board members leaned forward, expressions shifting from confusion to shock. Evelyn stood. "This is absurd, Michael. You're clearly having some kind of breakdown." "Judge Richard Collins is your cousin," Michael continued. Ignoring her, he processed Sophie's adoption in record time, 6 weeks instead of the standard 6 months. Phone records show 17 calls between you and Collins in the 2 weeks following my accident. "So I called my cousin. So what? That proves nothing." Michael clicked to the next slide. Laura's hospital admission records from Pennsylvania. Laura Reynolds was pulled from the river 30 miles downstream. She survived. She was admitted to a hospital in Pennsylvania as Jane Doe, Dark 847, with severe amnesia. Her case was flagged as a potential match to my accident investigation. Standard protocol for found persons. Click. The next image showed the deletion record. That flag was deleted before anyone could make the connection. The clerk who deleted it, Patricia Hennessy, received a $20,000 payment from your LLC 2 weeks later. The room was completely silent, except for Evelyn's sharp breathing. "You kept my wife alive but lost," Michael said, his voice dropping to something dangerous. "You kept my daughter stolen. You let me suffer for 25 years, thinking they were dead, because you wanted me for yourself. That's not..." Evelyn's composure was cracking. "You have no proof of my involvement." Michael clicked to the final slide. The letter, enlarged so every word was visible. "This letter was found in a safety deposit box you rented under the name Elizabeth Preston. Your handwriting, your signature. Dated October 18th, 1997. He read aloud, his voice steady despite the rage. "This isn't cruelty. It's love. Sometimes love requires difficult choices." The board members reacted. Gasps, muttered exclamations. One woman putting her hand over her mouth in horror. Evelyn's mask finally shattered. "I did it for you." The words burst out of her, wild and desperate. "Laura was wrong for you. She was holding you back from your potential. I could see it even then. You were meant for greatness, Michael. And she was ordinary, mediocre. She would have kept you small. She was my wife," Michael said, his voice shaking now. "She was the mother of my child. And you took her from me. You took them both from me. Because I love you." Evelyn's face was flushed. her carefully maintained control completely gone. "I've always loved you, more than she ever could. I understand you. I pushed you to become the director, to expand the hospital, to achieve everything you've accomplished. Without me, you'd still be some nobody resident with a housewife and a mortgage." The words hung in the air, toxic and revealing. Laura stood from her chair, her face pale but her voice clear. "I may not remember you, but I know what you are now. You're not love, you're obsession. And you destroyed 3 lives because you couldn't handle being told no." Evelyn turned on her. "You should be thanking me. I gave you freedom. I gave your daughter a new life. I made Michael into someone important." "You're insane," Emily said flatly. "You're actually insane." The board chair, Dr. Margaret Chen, cleared her throat. Her expression was cold as winter. "Dr. Parker, I think we've heard enough. The evidence presented here is damning. Combined with your confession just now, I believe we have no choice but to take immediate action." "Confession?" Evelyn's eyes darted around the room, finally realizing how thoroughly she'd exposed herself. "I didn't confess to anything, I was speaking hypothetically. You admitted to orchestrating the separation of Dr. Reynolds from his family," Dr. Chen said. "You admitted to bribing officials. You admitted to falsifying investigations, in front of 8 witnesses." She looked to the other board members. "I call for an immediate vote on Dr. Parker's expulsion from this hospital and this board, pending criminal investigation." "Second," came the response from 3 different voices simultaneously, all in favor. 8 hands went up. Only Evelyn stayed down. "The motion carries unanimously." Dr. Chen's voice was glacial. "Evelyn Parker, you are hereby expelled from Saint Raphael Hospital, stripped of all positions and privileges, effective immediately. Security will escort you from the building. Your personal effects will be boxed and mailed to you. You are not to contact any staff members or return to hospital property." Evelyn looked at Michael, and for just a moment, he saw something like realization in her eyes, understanding that she'd lost, that her carefully constructed plan had crumbled completely. "You'll regret this," she said quietly. "All of you. I gave my life to this hospital. You gave nothing," Michael said. "You only took, and now you'll pay for it." Security arrived. 2 large men who bracketed Evelyn without touching her. She drew herself up, trying to salvage some dignity, but it was too late. Everyone in that room had seen her for what she was. As they led her to the door, she stopped and looked back at Michael one last time. "I loved you," she said. "That was real, even if nothing else was." "That wasn't love," Michael replied. "That was theft." The door closed behind her, and the room exhaled collectively. Dr. Chen turned to Michael, her expression softening. "Dr. Reynolds, I cannot express how sorry I am. On behalf of this board and this institution, please know that we will fully support any legal action you choose to take against Dr. Parker. We will also be conducting a full internal review to ensure nothing like this can ever happen again. Thank you." Michael's legs suddenly felt weak. Laura and Emily were at his side immediately, supporting him. "I appreciate that. Take whatever time you need. Your position here is secure, and if there's anything we can do to help your family recover from this trauma, please don't hesitate to ask." After the board members filed out, Michael stood with Laura and Emily in the empty boardroom, through the windows. The city sprawled below them, indifferent to the justice that had just been served. "It's over," Emily said softly. "It's really over. The criminal trial will take time," Michael warned. "She'll fight this. Let her fight." Laura's hand found his, her grip strong and sure. "We're not fighting alone anymore." Michael looked at his wife and daughter, his family miraculously restored, and felt the weight of 25 years finally begin to lift. Evelyn had taken so much, but she hadn't taken everything, and what remained was more than enough to build a life on. The criminal trial moved forward with the cold efficiency of the justice system. Evelyn Parker was indicted on 14 counts, including bribery, obstruction of justice, conspiracy, and falsification of official documents. Judge Richard Collins was arrested 3 days after the board meeting. Detective Frank Morrison, retired and comfortable in his Florida beach house, suddenly found his past catching up with him. Michael watched it unfold from a distance. He gave his testimony, provided his evidence. and then stepped back. Revenge, he discovered, was less satisfying than he'd imagined. It didn't erase 25 years. It didn't give him back the time he'd lost. But building something new, that was different. That was everything. 2 weeks after the board meeting, Michael, Laura, and Emily started family therapy with Dr. Patricia Gomez, a specialist in trauma and amnesia. They met twice a week in her office overlooking Central Park, slowly untangling 25 years of damage. This isn't about forcing memories to return, Dr. Gomez explained during their first session. It's about creating new ones while honoring the past. Laura, you may never fully remember your life before the accident, and that's okay. The goal is to help you feel connected to Michael and Emily as they are now. Not just as they were. Laura had nodded, but Michael could see the frustration in her eyes. She wanted to remember, wanted to wake up one morning with all the missing pieces suddenly in place. It didn't work that way, but slowly, gradually, things started to surface. Watching old home videos triggered a memory of Sophie's 3rd birthday party. The chocolate cake, the purple balloons, the way Michael had carried her on his shoulders. Cooking together brought back fragments of their tiny Brooklyn kitchen. Laura humming while Michael chopped vegetables. I remember we had this argument, Laura said one evening, laughing and crying at the same time, about whether to put mushrooms in the spaghetti sauce. You said they were disgusting, and I said you had the palate of a 5-year-old. You put them in anyway, Michael said, grinning through his own tears. And I picked every single one out. And I called you impossible. And I kissed you and told you that you loved me anyway. I did. Laura looked at him, and for the first time since they'd found each other again, there was something in her eyes beyond confusion or fear, something that looked like recognition. I do. The words hung between them, fragile and precious. Emily had her own journey. She'd requested a transfer to the day shift so she could spend evenings with her parents. A word that still felt strange and wonderful in her mouth. She started painting again, something she'd abandoned after the Hendersons died. Her apartment filled with canvases depicting fragments of recovered memories. A silver ring surrounded by stars, white roses in a garden, a man and woman dancing in a kitchen lit only by moonlight. I'm painting what I feel, she explained to Michael when he visited her studio. Not what I remember exactly, but what my heart knows even if my head doesn't. One painting in particular caught his attention. It showed 3 figures, abstract, blurred, but unmistakably a family. They were holding hands, forming a circle, and above them stars spelled out words too small to read, but somehow understood. It's us, Emily said softly, as we were, as we are, as we're going to be. Michael pulled her into a hug. This daughter he'd lost and found, and was still learning to know. It's perfect. Finding a house took 3 weeks. They looked at dozens of properties, each with something wrong. Too small, too modern, wrong neighborhood. Michael was about to give up when the realtor showed them a Victorian in Brooklyn Heights with a garden that had been left to grow wild. Laura stopped in the middle of the overgrown path, her breath catching. This is it, she whispered. You haven't even seen inside, Emily pointed out. I don't need to. Laura moved forward, running her hands over the peeling paint on the porch railing, the broken shutters, the weathered door. This is home. I can feel it. Michael exchanged a glance with Emily, then nodded to the realtor. We'll take it. The house needed work. A lot of work. Michael cut his hours at the hospital to half-time. Despite protests from the board, his family had to come first now. He'd spent 25 years prioritizing work, filling the void with achievements that meant nothing, that stopped now. They spent weekends painting walls, refinishing floors, fixing leaks. Emily proved surprisingly handy with a hammer, while Laura discovered she had a gift for design. Michael mostly provided muscle and terrible jokes that made both of them groan. I think I'm pretty good at this, he said one Saturday, surveying the crooked shelf he'd just installed. It's leaning, Emily observed. That's intentional, artistic. It's definitely something, Laura said diplomatically, then burst out laughing when the shelf promptly fell off the wall. They laughed together, the 3 of them covered in paint and dust and happier than they'd been in years, or in Laura and Emily's case, happier than they remembered being. The garden became Laura's domain. She cleared out the weeds, turned the soil, and planted white roses. 3 rows of them, each with 7 bushes. 3 times 7 is 21, she explained to Michael one evening as they sat on the back porch watching the sunset. Not quite 25 years, but it's a start. I'll add more next spring, and the spring after that, until we've accounted for every year we lost. That's a lot of roses. I like roses. She leaned her head on his shoulder, and Michael wrapped an arm around her, marveling at how natural it felt. How right. They weren't rushing into anything physical. Dr. Gomez had been clear about that. Laura needed time to reconnect with Michael as a person, not just as a concept from her missing past. They slept in separate rooms, moved carefully around each other, learning boundaries and comfort zones. But moments like this, sitting together watching the sky fade from blue to purple to black, these were enough. These were everything. Emily moved in 2 months after they bought the house. Her old apartment had always felt temporary, like she was waiting for something without knowing what. Now she knew. She'd been waiting to come home. Her room was on the 2nd floor with windows overlooking the garden. She painted the walls a warm honey color that matched her eyes, hung her canvases, and filled the space with books and plants and evidence of a life being actively lived. It feels weird, she admitted to Michael one night, having a room in my parents' house at 28. Who says you're too old to live at home? Michael countered. Besides, we have a lot of years to make up for. I'm not ready to let you go yet. Good, because I'm not ready to leave. They developed routines. Sunday morning pancakes, Michael's specialty. Thursday evening movie nights, Laura's choice. She had a weakness for old romantic comedies that made Emily groan, and Michael pretend to protest. Saturday mornings in the garden. All 3 of them working in companionable silence. The criminal trial concluded in November. Evelyn Parker was sentenced to 8 years in federal prison. Judge Collins got 12. Detective Morrison, in exchange for his cooperation, received 5 years and forfeiture of all assets acquired through bribes. Michael, Laura, and Emily didn't attend the sentencing. They were busy planting bulbs in the garden, tulips and daffodils that would bloom in the spring. Do you think she regrets it? Emily asked, her hands deep in the soil. Evelyn, I don't know, Michael said honestly. And I don't care. She's not part of our story anymore. But she was, Laura said quietly. She changed everything. She tried to, Michael corrected. But she failed. We're here. We're together. She lost. Laura looked at him, then at Emily, then at the garden they were building together. Yeah, I guess we won after all. That night, after Emily went to bed, Laura found Michael in the living room. He was looking at old photo albums, something he did less frequently now that he had the real thing. Can I join you? She asked. Always. She settled next to him, studying the photographs of a life she couldn't remember. Then she turned to look at him. Really look at him. I still don't remember everything, she said. Maybe I never will, but I'm starting to fall in love with you. Not the you from these pictures, the you who's here now. Is that okay? Michael set the album aside and took her hands. That's more than okay. That's everything. And when he kissed her, carefully, tentatively, it felt like coming home. 3 months after Evelyn's sentencing, on a Saturday morning in early spring, Michael woke to find Laura already in the garden. She was kneeling among the roses, her hands gentle as she pruned dead growth and tied new shoots to their supports. The morning sun caught in her silver-streaked hair, and for a moment Michael just watched her, grateful beyond words for this impossible second chance. She looked up and caught him staring. You're being creepy, Dr. Reynolds. Can't help it. You're beautiful when you're gardening. I'm covered in dirt and probably have leaves in my hair. Still beautiful. He crossed the garden and kissed the top of her head. Coffee? Always. They sat on the back porch with their mugs, watching the roses sway in the breeze. Most of Laura's memories had returned now. Not all of them. And some were still hazy around the edges. But enough. Enough to remember their wedding day. Enough to remember Sophie as a baby. Enough to remember the life they'd built before it was stolen. I've been thinking, Laura said, about the ring. Michael glanced at her left hand, still bare. The original ring was evidence in Evelyn's trial, locked away in some courthouse evidence room. He'd offered to have a new one made, but Laura had said she wanted to wait. What about it? I want to renew our vows. She turned to face him. her honey-colored eyes bright with determination. Not because I need to be reminded that we're married, but because I want to choose you again, consciously, with full knowledge of everything we've been through. Michael's throat tightened. You want to get married again? I want to marry you for the first time. She smiled. That probably doesn't make sense. It makes perfect sense. He took her hand. When? Soon. Small. Just us and Emily and maybe a few close friends, here in the garden, under the roses. She paused. And I want you to put that ring on my finger again. The real one. Not a copy. It's evidence. The trial's over. Evelyn's appeal was denied. They have to release it eventually. Laura squeezed his hand. That ring survived 25 years and brought us back together. It belongs on my finger. Michael made calls, pulled strings, called in favors from colleagues in the DA's office. 2 weeks later, a courier delivered a small box to the house. Inside, wrapped in protective plastic, was the silver ring with its sapphire surrounded by stars, still beautiful despite everything it had been through. Laura cried when she saw it. It's perfect, she whispered, running her finger over the engraved stars. It's home. They planned the ceremony for a Saturday in late April, when the tulips and daffodils would be in full bloom and the roses just beginning to open. Emily took charge of the details with enthusiasm that made both her parents laugh. I'm making up for missing the first wedding, she explained, surrounded by swatches of fabric and flower catalogs. Let me have this. The guest list was small. Dr. Patricia Gomez, Thomas Whitaker, a handful of colleagues from the hospital, and 2 of Laura's old friends who'd never stopped hoping she'd come home. 30 people total, which felt exactly right. The morning of the ceremony, Emily knocked on Michael's door while he was fumbling with his tie. Need help? She asked. Desperately, she crossed the room and took over, her fingers deft as she fixed his collar and straightened the tie. There, you look good, Dad. The word still made his heart skip. Thanks, sweetheart. Are you nervous? Terrified? He admitted. What if I mess up the vows? Then you'll mess them up, and Mom will laugh, and it'll be perfect anyway. Emily stepped back, studying him. You know what I realized the other day? What's that? I'm not angry anymore. About the lost time. About Evelyn. About any of it. She touched the ring on her finger. The ring that had started everything. I mean, I wish it hadn't happened. But it did. And somehow we found our way back to each other anyway. That's got to mean something. Michael pulled her into a hug. It means everything. It means some bonds are too strong to break, no matter what anyone does to try. Exactly. Emily pulled back, wiping her eyes. Okay, enough getting emotional. Mom's waiting. The ceremony was held in the garden under an arch Emily had decorated with white roses and silver ribbons. Chairs were arranged in a semicircle, and someone, probably Thomas, had strung fairy lights that would glow when the sun set. Michael stood under the arch, Dr. Gomez beside him as officiant, and watched Laura walk toward him through the garden she'd planted. She wore a simple cream dress, her silver-streaked hair loose around her shoulders, and she was the most beautiful thing he'd ever seen. When she reached him, she was crying. So was he. We're a mess, she said, laughing. We're perfect. Dr. Gomez cleared her throat, smiling. We're gathered here today to witness something extraordinary. Not just a wedding, but a reunion. Not just a beginning, but a continuation of a love that refused to die. She spoke about resilience, about the human capacity to survive impossible things, about the mystery of connections that transcend memory and time. Michael barely heard it. He was too busy looking at Laura, memorizing this moment in case life ever tried to take her from him again. Michael and Laura have written their own vows, Dr. Gomez said. Michael, he took Laura's hands, trying to remember the words he'd practiced. They flew out of his head immediately. I had this whole speech planned, he said, about loss and love and second chances. But standing here looking at you, all I can think is that I'm the luckiest man alive. His voice cracked. I lost you for 25 years and I survived it, but I don't want to just survive anymore. I want to live, really live, with you, for however many years we have left. Laura was crying openly now. My turn. He nodded. I don't remember our first wedding, she said, and maybe I never will, but I don't need to, because this is better. This time. I know what I'm choosing. I've seen you at your worst, grieving, broken, barely holding it together, and I've seen you at your best, fighting for our family, refusing to give up hope even when hope seemed crazy, and I choose all of it, all of you, for all the years we have left. The ring, Doctor, Gomez prompted gently. Emily stepped forward, holding out the small box. Michael opened it with trembling hands and lifted out the silver band. The sapphire caught the light, and the engraved stars seemed to shimmer. With this ring, Michael said, his voice steady despite the tears, I thee wed, again, for always. He slipped it onto Laura's finger, the same finger it had graced 30 years ago. It fit perfectly, as if it had never left. Laura looked down at it, then up at him. Some rings don't just symbolize promises, she said softly. Some rings bring home the people we love. I now pronounce you married, Dr. Gomez said, beaming. Again, you may kiss your wife. And he did, while their friends cheered, and Emily took 1,000 pictures, and the roses swayed in the spring breeze. The reception lasted into the evening, fairy lights glowing as the sun set. They ate and danced and laughed, and Michael held Laura close as they swayed to a song he'd sung to her 30 years ago. Happy, he murmured against her hair. So happy it scares me. Me too. He pulled back to look at her. Look, but we're not going to lose this again. I won't let anything take you from me. You can't promise that. Life happens. Things change. Then we'll face it together, all three of us, whatever comes. Laura smiled, the ring on her finger catching the fairy lights. Together, she agreed. Later, after the guests had left and Emily had gone to bed, Michael and Laura stood in the garden under the stars, the same stars that had been engraved on that ring 30 years ago, the same stars that had watched over them through everything. Do you think we would have made it? Laura asked. If Evelyn hadn't done what she did? If we'd just had a normal life? Yes, Michael said without hesitation. We would have had arguments about mushrooms and spaghetti sauce and whose turn it was to take out the trash. We would have worried about money and raised our daughter and gotten old together. It would have been ordinary and perfect and ours. I wish we'd had that. Me too, but we have this, and this is pretty damn good. Laura leaned into him, and they stood together in silence, watching the stars and feeling the solid ground beneath their feet and the roses growing all around them. Somewhere, in some courthouse evidence locker, a case file was being closed. Somewhere, in a federal prison, Evelyn Parker was learning that obsession is not love. Somewhere, the universe was evening its scales. But here, in this garden, under these stars, 3 people who'd been torn apart had found their way home. And that was everything. That was enough. That was their happy ending. Hard-won and real